Hello and welcome to another instructional video. Today, we're going to go over getting started with Adobe Rush. Once you've installed the program and you open it up, your screen should look like this, and we're going to go ahead and click this Create a New Project button. I will point out that I've kind of done this project already, and I'm going to try to recreate it. But you'll notice some other projects over here. And there are some tutorials that can walk you through the editing of this sample footage. And I highly encourage you to do that, as that is a little more interactive than what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click this Create New Project button. And immediately it's going to show me where I can get my source media for creating a project. And I know that mine is on the desktop, and you can see I have a lot of folders here. But I do want to, I've created a folder in advanced. So I said cat video. And in that folder, I have, I think it's about, looks like eight clips of video of my cats. And I'm not going to take all of this footage. That might not be too interesting, but something that's important, the order that we select our clips is the order they're going to automatically put our clips into the timeline. So just by selecting which clips we want, it kind of is our first step of editing. So I'm going to start with that one, and you'll notice there's a number 1 there. And then I'm going to go to number 2. I think this is a cute little fight here between the kittens. 3, 4, and these last 2 they're a little older, 5 and 6. And I'm not going to select these other 2. We don't want this cat video to be too long. Now you'll notice that they are highlighted in blue, and it shows the order that they will go into my project. And down here, I have little thumbnails showing them. And I want to give the project a name. So I'm going to call this Kitten 2, because I practiced this once already. There's an option here to sync with the Creative Cloud and to copy the media. You might want to select these if you plan on editing this on multiple devices. So you could start editing it on your computer, and maybe then you'd go to your laptop or a mobile device like a phone or an iPad or some other tablet. Part of the Adobe Cloud subscription means that you can store things in the cloud. I'm not going to select those because I'm going to do this whole process on my computer. But it's also a nice way to back things up. So I'm going to click Create. Okay, and you see it automatically just dropped those, all of those clips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clips into what's called the timeline. Okay, a couple things that we can do on the timeline here. This little blue line that I can drag back and forth, this is called the playhead. So this is where the video is playing, and I can just click and drag that, and I can preview what's going on here. You'll notice that there are some times indicated up above. So I can see that if I were to keep all of this video, I would have almost an 8-minute long cat video, which I don't think anybody wants to watch. So I want to make this a little shorter. Okay. Now with clips, if I click on the middle of the clip, I can rearrange them. Okay, just by dragging and dropping them. But if I click on the ends of the clip, I can trim the clip, and you can see that it's showing me, since I'm trimming the end, it's on the right side of the screen. It's showing me the next clip that's coming up, and I'm picking a point where I want this to stop. So I've watched my clips already, and I know that my cat, I think around this point where it scratches itself is kind of cute. And then the beginning, I want to cut a little of that off. So I'm just dragging that left side of that orange bar, and maybe I start right there. That's kind of cute. And then I can click play. This is my preview window where I can watch what I have. So looking at that first clip, and I'm not going to play the whole thing because for sake of time. But let's say that I'm pretty happy with that. And then with the next clip, I just want to get the cat kind of popping out of the couch here. So I'm moving my playhead and I'm seeing where that point is. So maybe right around there. And then I can just drag right to the playhead. And it actually has a feature, it's called snap, where it automatically, if I put the playhead where I want it to end, it'll automatically kind of magnetically snap to that. So let's say that that's where I'd like it to end. So I'm going to grab the right side of this clip. Okay. Now they're going to be a little sparring here. So maybe I'll trim to there. And then we don't need too much of this. Let's say we're going to drop it there. Now I could once again drag this over here, but let's say that, maybe there was something at the beginning of the clip and the end of the clip that I wanted. I can also split a clip in half. So I have my playhead where I want to do the split. Then if I click on this little scissor button, I can split it. And now you see I have the first part and the second part. Now for me, the second part, I think I don't need it. So I'm going to just delete it. So I can either hit the delete key on my keyboard, or I can hit this little delete button, this trash can. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click that. Okay, so we have cat approaching, cat's fighting, cat coming out of a couch over there. A little more cat fighting. Let's maybe drag this to there. Play a little of this. Let's try to find a little more interesting part of this. That was kind of cute. So I'll take this like that. Maybe we don't need that much of that. We could probably cut that right there. Okay. That's just a quick one. And then this last one, now the cat's a little older. They're playing with a beetle in my kitchen. Let's trim there. There. Okay. And then we'll just finish up with a little purring by the cats. I think that's a good spot. And clip that there. So we've edited down what was originally 8 minutes of cat video. We were all the way over here to now we're just a little over 2 minutes. Now, one thing that we can do is on our timeline here, I can zoom this in. So if I drag this this scroll bar, I can make these bigger if I want to be a little more precise about where I cut things. This is a pretty rough cut, so I can have it. It's okay to have it fairly big. In later videos, I am going to show some more things that we can do with editing, but I do want to add one little piece here. Sometimes it's nice to throw a title on here. You'll notice that we have some features up in the upper right-hand corner: titles, transitions, color grading. We can change the speed of a clip. We can adjust the audio. We can even crop and rotate. So I'll cover some of these bottom 5 in the next video. But just getting started, it might be nice to do a title. So I'm going to click this T, for title. Whoops, didn't give enough time to pop up. And a couple different ways we can put a title. So if I take this basic default title, I can drag it onto the clip and it will put it on top of it. So you'll notice that it's right over the cat there. Alternatively, I could remember if I drag by the middle, I can move things. So I could have it, if I just want the title on a black background, it can be there. Let's say if I wanted to, let's put that back up top. If I put that on top of my cat, I don't want it over its face. So I'm going to choose a different title. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this trash can button and delete that. I want the title to kind of appear in this lower right-hand corner. So let's see if there's a title that gives me that option. So we're going to take this basic lower thirds, and I'm going to put the playhead where I want it to appear. So maybe right around there. So I'm going to take that basic lower third and place it at the playhead. And then I can click on the preview window here. If I click on the text, I can call this kittens. And since the cat has ruined my couch, actually my cat before that started that whole, so cats in general will ruin your furniture. Why I can't have nice things. Okay. And let's maybe put it shadow, not crazy about that. Text color, maybe if we make the, let's see if we make the text color black. So I'm going to highlight all of that. Text color black. So we can see the kittens and we can see that part. Maybe we'll even try the top part in black. Let's change that. And this baseline shift, I can even pull this down a little bit. So let's lower this a little. Okay, and let's see how that looks. I'm just going to start where a little before it. And maybe to kind of set it up for going in the couch, I'm going to trim it to where he kind of turns and looks back at the couch. Okay. And then so we'll go right from looking over there to being in the couch. Might help a little with continuity. Right now we're just going over the basics, and I am not an expert filmmaker. So I think this is pretty decent for right now. Last thing, maybe we just want to write the end. So I'm just going to grab that title, put it right at the end. And then this one we can just click on the end. Okay. Well, that doesn't conclude. We're going to do one more thing. Let's export this video so that I can share this. Right now it's an edit, but these videos have not actually been put together in something that we can upload to YouTube or to Google Drive or even UJA for many of our classes. So I'm going to go ahead and click the share button. You'll notice that we could, go directly to YouTube or maybe Instagram, Facebook. But in our case, we're going to download it to local, meaning that I'm going to download it to the computer, and I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call this Kittens 2 just because I tried this once before. I don't think we really have to worry about these extra settings. You could go with 1080p or even 720p. Those would both be high enough resolution for what we're doing in our courses. And so I'm going to leave it at full HD. I'm going to click this export button. Depending on how fast your computer is, this may take longer or shorter. It looks like on this computer, which is a relatively new university computer, it's only going to take about 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click this done button. And I might have, if I waited longer, it might have showed me where it was downloading it to. It might have popped up, but I can see right now it said save to users Ryan Kane documents. So if I can change that for other videos. So maybe if I just wanted to put it on my messy desktop, I could put it there. Maybe I wanted to put it in the folder with my clips. The important thing is that I do know where it is. So now if I go to my home drive, let's see, if I go to my documents, you'll notice that there is a video called Kittens 2 MP4. And this is what I would upload to Yuja. This is what I could upload to YouTube or Google Drive for any of your class assignments. One thing I will point out that this video, even though it's only 2 minutes, it is 297 megabytes. So videos are, they do make for pretty large files. If I would have selected that 20p resolution, it would have been smaller. I'm not sure exactly how much. My guess is somewhere around maybe 170 megabytes. So if file size is a concern, maybe go with that 720p setting. I hope this is helpful. Thank you for learning with me, and I'll see you next time.